My name is Reverend Chris Wickland. I'm here in London today at the Israeli Embassy to interview several families who have either lost people in the October the 7th massacre or have had their loved ones kidnapped and they're being held hostage by Hamas. And in the light of the narrative of the Western media that's moved on from why we're in the current situation we're currently in respect to Gaza, it's good to remember how this all began and why this all started. And it's also good to put faces and families to what actually happened on October the 7th. One of the things that I noticed in our Western media is I saw Holocaust denial in real time, where I saw on the day that it happens, they had people being interviewed saying, well, this allegedly happens, there's alleged Hamas footage. Then weeks later, it was then, well, we're not even sure if that's verifiable, and then the narrative moved on. And I think it's important that we hear the stories of real people putting faces to real families that were on the ground on that day so that they can tell their story. And it is very brave of them to do this, to come onto camera, but they're here today and they want to tell their story. And so thank you everyone that you've come to agree to do this. I really appreciate it and we really value it, and it's very brave of you to do. So I'm just going to go around the room. Now, one of the things I'm noticing, you're all putting up these signs, and I'm glad you're doing this because, as you may or may not be aware, but in London, as people have been putting up flyers for their, to release the hostages, within hours they've been torn back down again. And if you put up a poster of a missing pet, that it would stay there. But the fact that it's the Jewish people that's being torn down, which I think is disgusting. And so this is a great opportunity for you to tell your story, really. So if we start with yourself. So if you tell me just who you are and then explain and then just tell your story, really, please, in your own words.
Okay, my name is Ilan. I'm the father of Guy Gilboa Dalal that was kidnapped on October 7th. Guy went to the music festival with some of his friends. None of them came back home. Two of his friends were brutally murdered by Hamas that day. And Guy and his friend were kidnapped to Gaza. Guy is 23 years old. As I mentioned, he turned 23 2 months ago in captivity. He was kidnapped at the age of 22 and 5 months. We never imagined that after 9 months he will still not be at home. Guy is a musician. He likes sports. He likes Japanese culture. He taught himself to speak Japanese, and he should have been in the great trip to Japan last April for the blooming of the cherry in Japan called the Sakura. Guy met his brother in this festival. They both were there. They sent us this photo of them both. It was taken at 6:15 in the morning, 15 minutes before the things begin. And in 6:30, the missiles start to fly over their heads, and they just began to go out toward the cars to go home. They got into the cars, and they ended up in this traffic jam where the terrorists came and started shooting people inside their cars, killing them, and there was a big panic. People ran to different directions, and both my sons split up. One of them ran to one side, the other one ran to the other side, and Gal, my elder son, was hiding and running for 10 hours, seeing very, very bad things happening to people around him. People got hurt, people got killed, and he was finally rescued by Israeli security forces after 10 hours. He was brought to Ofakim police station. From there, we took him home. My second son, Guy, did not have this kind of luck, and um, he ran with his friends when the shooting started, and they two split up. Two of his friends hid under some bush. That after that we learned that they were both killed, and the guy and his friends ran to the main road, where they found some hiding place with some other people from this music festival, and the terrorists spotted them and kidnapped them to Gaza. And this is the actual moment of the kidnapping. You can see the terrorists leading my son on the main road to some kind of a truck, and they put him in the truck with five other hostages they caught from the music festival, and took him to a place in Gaza. I don't know if it's a tunnel or a junk room. And on noon that day, Hamas published a video which we can see five hostages in a dark room, tied up with their hands and legs, very frightening, in shock. And this is the picture that was published from captivity. This is actually the first video that's released of hostages.
And have you seen any further correspondence regarding that? Any more pictures or anything?
We have another video of the kidnapping, but it was from the same day.
Right.
From that day on, we didn't get any footage of him. We got a sign of life 6 months ago in the start of January, and since then we heard nothing. One of the released hostages, Almog, was with him in the first day. They were captured together. They were hiding together under the same bush, and the terrorists took them, and they were together for a few hours. And the terrorists took pictures of them, and they filmed each one of them saying a few words, and then they separated them, and from that time they didn't get together again. Since then, it was 9 months left, and in these 9 months we didn't hear guy or touch him or see him, and we miss him very much, and it's very hard not to know what's going on with him for the past 9 months.
And how, I know it sounds a cruel question to ask, but I'm asking so people can understand, how is it day to day for you as a family, living with this, not knowing?
It's very hard. We don't have options. Like, we were thrown into this situation, and we try to handle it the best we can. It is very hard, and we are trying to get any piece of information that related to the negotiations, and we hope that now there's time of hope. And maybe the conditions are well now for all parties to go ahead and make this deal and release the hostages and start rebuilding our society again.
Thank you. Your story. I'd like to tell us your story.
Yeah, sure. My name is Gerald, and this is my son, Camille. He was kidnapped when he was only 18 years old. We do not live in the Gaza Strip area, but my son was ironically, a part of the humanitarian aid organization for the Palestinians in Gaza. Helped them to get a license to work in Israel, and bringing sick Palestinians into Israel to hospitals and get medical treatments, bringing goods in and out of the Gaza Strip. And all he really cared about was taking care of other people. And but the Hamas terrorists didn't care who they were taking. And um, at on Saturday morning, I woke up from a telephone ringing. My telephone rang, and I saw my son name on the screen, and I didn't get a chance to answer that phone. And I saw a message from him asking me if I was okay. I'm divorced with two other girls, and he really felt like he was the head of the house, and he needed to take good care of us. So he asked if we were okay, and it was very silent. Where we live is very quiet, and there was no sirens going on that day. And I texted him, what is going on? He said, there are missiles, and it's everywhere, and it's falling on our houses. And I asked him, what will be next? He said, I guess soon we'll go home. Little did we know, or he knew, that at that point the terrorists were already penetrated the base where he was in. And I told him to take good care of himself and keep me posted. He said, I'll try. And that was the last I've heard from him. It was 6:49 in the morning, and 20 minutes later, he was brutally abducted. We had no idea at that time. Around noon, we started to hear rumors of terrorists coming into Israel. And then my daughter, my 14-year-old daughter, came screaming to me, telling me that she's seeing her brother being abducted on Instagram. And I couldn't believe my eyes. That was my oldest son, my only son. Brutally being taken away from me. The last thing I remember and go to sleep every night is the fear in his eyes. He was in his pajamas, barefoot, with no glasses on. He can hardly see without his glasses. And the terrifying look is stuck with me. And it's the only thing I see when I go to sleep. The last video we saw, they released another video, was of three boys being taken away to Gaza through the brick walls. And that was the last footage I've seen of him. Unfortunately, there is no indication of life, even though he was on his feet. And we are clinging on threads of hope that we will see him again. And as a mother, to experience that is horrifying, and I do not wish that upon any mother. And we should stop this this horrific situation and start to rebuild our life, both the Palestinian and the Israelis. Any innocent civilian who has been injured in this horrific situation that was forced on us. We did not provoke it. It wasn't something we wished for. And I wish we can find a solution to end this thing as soon as possible. And hopefully I will see my son again.
Thank you. Thank you for your story. Ella.
My name is Ella. On October 6th, we were a regular family. Me, my husband Tal, and three kids. And we lived in a village called the kibbutz, in a community. And on October 7th, early morning, we started to hear a lot of sirens. I told Tal this is a regular, like our last 20 years routine. We had a lot of sirens. Sometimes we didn't use live this way, but we know it. And Tal said it sounds different this time. So we took the kids and we went to the safe room in our home, and we tried to manage the room to stay there. And then we found out that that door cannot be locked, that we are open, that the room is open. After a few minutes, Tal told me that he should leave and go to protect the kibbutz. This is his mission while in dangerous times. Usually, it's just a mechanical engineering in factory. And he left. And after a few minutes, he came back and said that there are terrorists in the next village to Nir Yitzhak, but not in our place. And then we took the time over the day. The kids, they were sleeping. They were very terrifying. They should do to pee in the bucket in the room all the day. We didn't have much food or water during the day, and just waited to the army. And suddenly we start to hear shooting in the next home and in the village. And I called Tal. It was something like 8:30. I called him and he said everything is okay, but I can't speak. It was a regular conversation of every day. And after a few hours, I called Tal because she knew what is going on, and she told me, I think everything is okay. But then I texted him and I saw that the message never arrived. And I start to think maybe there is a situation here. And I saw that the Tal's friends from the control team, they came back. And he and another friends of him, they didn't. We stayed like this over the day. We hear what is going on in Israel. It was terrifying because and we got a formal message that there are terrorists in our village. And I took a knife because I want to protect the kids and myself, and the door didn't close. And I took all the things I could take and lock the main door of the house. And around 9 o'clock, we've been told that we have 10 minutes to take everything we can and just leave the house and go to a safe place in the kibbutz. We were all of us together. Then I met Tal, and then she told me that Tal's phone was located in Gaza Strip. It was very, very hard moment for me, but I really believe that it's a matter of a few days and then he will come back. I was optimistic. I told the kids, I showed them on the Google Maps on the phone where their father is. I told my parents, Tal's family, and I told them also that I'm pregnant. It was just the beginning, 6 weeks or something like this. And then we, all the kibbutz, all the community, we moved to Eilat. This is our new home for the last 9 months. We are there. We never came back home, and we will not come back in the next year. And after 2 months, we got the message that Tal dead in October 7 in the kibbutz, and that his body held by Hamas in Gaza Strip. And after 7 months from October 7, I was born. I was birth.
Gave birth.
Gave birth of Lotan. Lotan will never meet his father, and his father will never meet him. And I can't even believe or imagine this situation. And first, when I told that Tal is dead and his body is in Gaza Strip, I said, okay, I don't want anyone will hurt to bring him back. Why? But then my kids start to ask questions like, how can someone declare that he is dead if there is no body?
Yeah.
And maybe he's not dead. Maybe he will come back. And then I understand that I have another situation here, that I need to bring them something they can understand the situation. We buried nothing, but we did a funeral because I want to give them
closure.
closure, exactly. And I think also the Tal and all the others in the same status, they need to get the right honor to bury them in the Israeli land. And we have no time. All of us have no time. We're running out of time, and the only way to bring all of them is just by speaking together. There is no other way, and I hope we can build our life from the beginning.
Thank you for your story.
I just want to tell that that story is the story of the kibbutz. His grandfather built the kibbutz, and his grandmother survived the Holocaust, and they came to the kibbutz. That they believe they can live with their Palestinian neighbors together. All of us in the kibbutz believed in peace. And we did a lot of things with them before the war. And even in last, we have a worker that came from Gaza. He lived near us. We invite him every evening to dinner. So we believed that we can live in peace. We didn't naive because we know that in the other side there is Hamas and they want to fight with us. But although we believe that we can live together.
Yeah.
And this Saturday was shock from us because it wasn't just a Hamas fighter. It came to our kibbutz. Regular people, children, all of them get inside. They walk around like it's them and get inside the houses. They took things, took families. And it's broke the feeling that yes,
the
that
hope.
you can trust them. We hope it will be back because we want to back home. And the only way that we can live there is in the belief that something will be different.
And who's this person you're holding up?
We have 3 hostages in Gaza. All of them was in a protect group. Oren was the first who get out. He saw a fire in plastic factory we have in a kibbutz. We thought it's because of the bomb. It's fell on the plastic, but the terrorist was there and he killed them immediately when he get out. And his body is there. And Lior and Tal was together. They fight together 20 terrorists or maybe more. And they protect us.
Thank you, everyone, for telling your story. I was here only about 6 weeks ago, and I got to see some of the footage of what actually happened that day in the kibbutzes, and it was probably the most awful thing that I've ever seen. You know, you can watch war movies, you can think like that, you can become desensitized, but when you see it, you know that this is just ordinary families just going about their ordinary lives, and then suddenly you see evil people just coming in and doing the wicked things that they did. It was truly shocking, and I'm so sorry for you. I'm so sorry for your losses for that, and I'm so sorry what's going on in the media, how you guys are being represented, because it's so unfair, it's so unreasonable, and it's so untrue, a lot of it. And so that was another reason why we wanted to do this video. And also for me as a member of the Christian community, I just want to say, you know, we support you, we're with you, and that's why we're trying to do things like this, just to help you, and just let you know that there is people out there that is on your side, even though it might feel like the world is against you. Can I ask one more question? What is the mood in Israel right now in respect to how Israel is being portrayed in the media?
It's very difficult. I think it's hard for us to say that people do not stick with facts, and there's a lot of assumptions that are going on, and talking about genocide and words that are so big that people maybe do not understand that if we had wanted to commit genocide, it would take 3 days, not 9 months, and we would sacrifice a lot of our soldiers. We're doing everything we can to protect the civilians. The problem is that Hamas is hiding underneath the civilians, and it's very hard for us um, not to harm civilians, but we are doing our best, and it's devastating to think that the world is judging us, and don't really understand the situation in Israel. To see that we are we value life, and it's a strength as a community, but our enemies are taking advantage of that, and it becomes our weakness. And
There's a
and
lot
it's
of lies.
horrible. Just one sentence. It's horrible to think that we're in the 21st century, and people are being used as bargain tools. Even people who just died. It's horrible to think that this is uh, um, a solution to anything, to win anything. They didn't do it to gain a country, or they did it just because we are Jews. There's no other reason for that. And it's devastating to think that this is what the world thinks. They are seeing all the militants out there, the extremists that are enchanting from the river to the sea, and they don't even understand the meaning.
No.
It means that the annihilation of Israel.
That's right.
And we have to, we're trying to survive, and we'll do anything we can. And as our former Prime Minister Golda Meir said, the strongest weapon we have is that we don't have anywhere to go. This is our country. This is the only Jewish country in the world,
Yeah.
and we're trying to save our family members, and really want to live in peace. There's no question is if there's a partner on the other side. Sorry.
There's a lot of lies that the Palestinians are spreading about what happened and what's going on. If you see in the media, especially Arabic media, you see only suffer of one side. And not just the suffering of one side. It's spotted on children. Like Israel is only killing children. If you see Arab networks, you can see that Israel is killing children all day. And this is what comes to mind in the world. And they don't mind the facts. You know, many women were raped that day, and it took a long time that it will be recognized by any human rights organization or women organization around the world, which they meant should be the first that recognize these atrocities and support the Israeli women, and they did not do it because they are Jewish. We know that Palestinians are literally directing films of horrors and deaths of people that are dying in one place and then they die in another place, and we proved it. But the world just doesn't care about the facts. They believe the lies of the Palestinians, and we have very hard time dealing with this kind of things because there are a lot of people, much more than the Israelis, and they hate us, and they have a goal to take this country from us and give it to the Palestinians, although it was never theirs, historical.
Yes.
If you add this to the ongoing anti-Semitism in the world, it connect together, and the people that hated Jews from the beginning are aligned with the Palestinians, and they all together trying to ruin the Jewish state. And this is one thing we have to deal with. So this is where you come in, and we need your help in order to spread the truth.
This festival that my son go,
Yeah.
it's called Peace and Love. There are Jewish and Muslim for all the world.
And yet they indiscriminately killed both Muslims and
Yeah.
Jewish people
Yes,
and
well,
non-Jewish people.
They
as well.
didn't ask for political opinions or if it's Jewish or Muslims. They just kill everybody.
We killed many workers in the agriculture in the villages, in the kibbutz, from Thailand, Philippines.
Yeah, we saw that in the footage that they showed here as well. It was, again, just indiscriminate killing. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Maybe it's just you just shared a bit of your story, and it's very brave of you to do. And this will go on to our YouTube channel later today. And no doubt it'll be interesting what sort of comments that will come back off that. But we just wanted to give you guys an opportunity to put a face to how this all began and why this began. And that this is affecting real people, and the war that's going on is only a consequence because of this. If this hadn't happened, then we wouldn't be in the state of play that we're in today. So, from the depths of my heart, I just want to again apologise how maybe many Christian communities have stayed quiet on this matter, and that's one of the things I want to try to address. And you have our heartfelt sympathies, and we're deeply, deeply saddened and sorrowful for what's happened to Israel and what you as a nation are going through right now. And thank you again for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.